Good day, everyone. I am Grayson Mulbog.
I am Jasmine Bandeja.
And we are the reporter of Chapter 7, The Teacher and the Community, Teachers' Ethical and Professional Behavior. Here are learning outcomes. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to elaborate on the community's expectation from teachers and on teacher expectation from the communities. Describe teacher ethical and professional behavior in the community by giving concrete example. Right now, think about your favorite teacher. Why was he or she your favorite? What qualities did he or she possess? Is he or she your ideal teacher? What influence did he or she have in your life? Did she act in accordance to the expectation of the community? Activity 2. Here are quotes on teachers. Number 1. Teacher changed the world one child at a time. Number 2. Teachers, I believe, the most responsible and most important member of society because the professional effort affect the fate of the earth. Number 3. Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understand the power of connection and insist they become the best they can possibly be. Number 4. The influence of a good teacher can never be erased. 5. I am a teacher. I am not in it for the income. I am in it for the outcome. I am a teacher. It's who am I. It's my position, my calling in my world. My quote on teacher is, a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the way for others. The teacher becomes a real guide in nurturing in his interest and learning to make him more successful and independent. Let's analyze. Are the traits shared in your small group the same trait that the larger community expect professional teachers? Yes. Number 2. Based on your observation, do all teachers embody the trait expected of professional teachers? No. In the very title of the unit indicates that teachers are expected to be part of the community. To be part of the community definitely means to participate in the life of the community, or he or she relate himself to the community. And our legal basis is the 8th section of Article 3 of the Code of Ethics, refers to the community within the school and the community outside the school. Teacher as a facilitator of learning. So Article 3, Section 1 states that the teacher is a facilitator of learning and development of the youth. Therefore, shall render the best service by providing an environment conducive for such learning and growth. So in this section, we will focus on the word facilitate and the conducive environment. Facilitators comes from the word facilitate, which means to make something easy or easier. You, as a professional teacher, facilitate learning or make learning easier. We know that learning is a difficult task and is made easier when you make dry lesson interesting, enjoyable, and exciting. As a professional teacher, you make learning easier when you simplify the complex and concretize the abstract. To facilitate learning, a conducive learning environment is necessary. It has been proven that learners learn in a pleasant environment. A pleasant environment is where the learners can be themselves because teachers are caring. No need to put best self forward because teachers and classmates are truly care and take you for who you are. All forms of bullying has no place with a conducive environment. A conducive learning environment makes learners believe that they can do work and they feel accepted. A favorable learning climate is not the competitive where everyone is tense. So, according to Rita Person, every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understand the power of connection and insist they become the best they can possibly be. So for the quote I read, do you have a specific movie where you can apply this quote? For me, I remember the movie who titled every child is special. It's all about a child with dyslexia. It's a learning disorder. At school, he would experience bullying and other teacher would not treat him well. However, despite his disorder, one teacher came and persisted in teaching him. Teacher leadership and initiative for community participation. Section 2 refers to the leadership and initiative of the professional teacher to participate in the community movements for moral, social, economic, and civic betterment of the community. As a professional teacher, you do not live in ivory tower, meaning you are not supposed to be removed nor allow for the community life. Schools are at the heart of the communities, and you as a professional teacher are expected to be in the world and to be in the world with others and for others. The words in Section 2 of Article 3 are provide leadership and initiative. This implies that as a professional teacher, you have not to wait for community to ask help. Every teacher is an intellectual leader in the community, especially in the barangay, and shall welcome the opportunity to provide such leadership when needed, to extend counseling services as appropriate, and to be actively involved in the matters affecting the welfare of the people. Section 2 states that you as a professional teacher ought to take the initiative to offer you help for the improvement of the community. Many a time, you can be a guidance counselor, a prayer leader, or leader in pabasa, commentator or reader in religious celebration, fiesta coordinator, or hermano, judge, or coach for a contest, financial advisor, a nurse, a doctor, commentator, prayer rolled into one. Providing leadership and initiative also means working with the community. This means getting the parents and other members of the community participate in the school activities. Teachers are the most responsible and most important member of the society because professional effort affect the fate of the earth. The other one is the professional teacher with honor and dignity. Section 3 states that every teacher shall merit reasonable social recognition, for which purpose he shall behave with honor and dignity at all times and refrain from such activities as gambling, smoking, drunkenness, and other excesses, much less illicit relations. Obviously, if a professional teacher are inveterate gambler, chain smoker, and alcoholic, or if it's common knowledge that you are engaged in illegal relationship, how can your moral authority who will listen to you when you advise your class not to smoke, not to drink alcohol drinks, not to gambling, and etc.? Your audience will say, "Look who is talking. It is matter of do what I say, not what I do." Teachers have a very significant lifelong impact on all of their students. This impact involves not only the teaching of particular academic skill, but as importantly, the fostering of student self-esteem.
Teachers' attitude towards local custom and tradition. Section 4 expect every teacher to live for and with the community and shall, therefore, study and understand local customs and tradition in order to have a sympathetic attitude. Therefore, refrain from disparaging the community. The professional teacher is neither ethnocentric nor xenocentric. He or she is not ethnocentric, so does not look down on community's culture because of the thought that his or her culture is superior to the culture of the community. Neither is he or she xenocentric and so look at his or her culture as inferior into other communities' culture. Fortunate and happy is the community that has teachers who live with them, exert effort to understand their local custom and tradition, consequently appreciate the same. This author sees no culture as perfect. Every culture, including her, has its positive and negative aspect. What we need to pass on are the positive aspect of the culture. We need to purify, however, the negative aspect with the teacher pointing them out tactfully and sincerely. In Section 4, which is the attitude towards local customs and tradition, it is all about of the teachers that are being deployed in provinces or urban places. Example, in urban areas, we have different cultures and tradition, so all we have to do is respect their culture, and we avoid or even we don't have to show them that our culture and traditions are much more higher or let us say in top in other cultures. Instead, we have to treat each other equally because they accept you respectfully in their town, so respect them also and the culture and tradition they used to. Example, just like my aunt who assigned in Cavite, she was deployed there. So as a teacher, she is the one who adjusts and also respect their norms and belief. In short, she had to adapt and learn how to speak Cavite dialect to communicate with her student efficiently. The professional teacher and information update. Section 5 states that the teacher shall help the school inform the community about the school works, accomplishment, needs, and problem. Community here refers to internal as well as external stakeholders. Internal stakeholders include the student, the parents of the student, and the teachers. The external stakeholders are the other parents in the community without children enrolled in school, barangay official, and other government officials, non-government organization, government organization, alumni, and retirees. In Section 5, your responsibility as a teacher is to update the community to what the school needs or problem for the community to be aware and the problems will be solved. Example, in a school where there are students who need equipments in their electives or the tech box student is they have to consult and say to the head of the program or the assigned personnel that they are lacking of equipments or they will be needing these equipments. The Parents and Teachers Association. We have Parents and Teachers Association or PTA in place in every school. Some private schools call it Homeschool Association or Family Advisory Council. This is for internal stakeholders only. A PTA is an association of teachers and parents with children who are enrolled in a school. It is a forum for discussion on school problems and how they can be solved. The School Governing Council. Other than the PTA is the School Governing Council. The SGC has different membership and function. A School Governing Council as a policy-making body has the school head as Chief Executive Officer, Manager, and Chief Operation Officer. The formation of SGC in every school is a proof of school head sharing his or her leadership with the members of the community. It determines general policies on student welfare, discipline, well-being. It is concerned with the development and implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of the School Improvement Plan or SIP, and reporting of the progress of the SIP implementation to the school's division superintendent and the community. In addition, the PTAs are the School Governing Council in every public school. This School Governing Council shares in the management of the school with school head as chair. This school council is another opportunity for communities to participate in school activities. The professional teacher and other government official and other professionals. Section 7 states every teacher shall maintain harmonious and pleasant personal and official relations with other professionals, with government officials, and with the people individually or collectively. As a professional teacher, you cannot afford not to be in pleasant relations with others, especially those with whom you work with like other professional teachers. It is always best to be in good terms with everyone else in the community. Desiderata gives this advice: as far as possible without surrender, be in good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, when the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. As a professional teacher, we must be pleasant in the eyes of everyone, especially those who work with. It is always best to be good terms with everyone in the community. For instance, if you are a teacher, you should not only in good terms with the people who have the same profession. You should also be in good terms with the other professionals. One of the way to be in good terms with the other profession, joining seminars or some organizations. Through this, you can build relationships with the other professionals, and also this could create a good environment with the other professionals. The professional teachers does not use position to proselyte. Finally, Section 8 says, as teacher possesses freedom to attend church and worship as appropriate, but shall not use his position and influence to proselyte others. To be in a position means to have power or influence for a purpose. For you to use that position to perform your job as a professional teacher. It is highly unprofessional for a teacher like you to use your position of influence to proselyte. Besides, freedom of religion is guaranteed by the 1987 Philippine Constitution. No law shall be made respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession and worship without discrimination or preference shall forever be allowed. By Article 2, Section 6. A professional use his or her position as a power or influence. Use position to perform your job as professional teacher. It's very unprofessional if you use your position as proselyte. If you are professional, you should use your power to impart knowledge your student and educate them. You should have respect to your student beliefs or religions. You should not use your profession to persuade your student to change their beliefs, culture, and religion. Everyone has freedom to go to church and worship, but no one can decide and dictate who you should follow and believe. For instance, way back in my elementary days, I have a teacher who is Muslim, and I can see and feel that she is not proselytizing us. I can see that she respects everyone's beliefs and religion. She doesn't degrade others' religion. She doesn't see her religion superior in other. I really amazed on her on how she handles us with different religion. Here is what one dean of a college student of education told her freshman teacher education student in her welcome address on orientation day. Believing that you don't learn everything in the classroom, the College of Education, which will be your home for 4 years, has prepared a menu of annual co-curricular activities for you. All of these are meant to help you become the true professional teacher that this college and university have envisioned you to become. What message do you get from the Dean's welcome address? The Dean's welcome address says that we, college students of education, will be practiced and be molded into what we are deserved to be. They'll help us to make ourselves become knowledgeable in order for us to be suitable in the position that we can get in the near future. And even if the theoretical aspect of education is hard, the school will make sure that the student will be facilitated through programs the school will create to help the student understand all the concepts through application and in practical settings. In the context of this welcome address, what does this statement do more, learn more, and have more? What message do you get in relation to your pre-service education? The statement do more, learn more, and have more means we should explore and widen our understanding, be guided and listen to others for you to learn extra knowledge that you don't know. We should not limit ourselves into what is only required from us, but we must set the standard higher and do more than what is expected to address the needs of the people. A professional teacher creates a conducive learning environment to facilitate learning. Based on experiences, illustrate with a drawing or comic strip what a conducive learning environment is. Display your work in a class. Conduct a gallery walk of everyone to see and comment or ask questions about the comic strip. Conducive environment is one which there is mutual love and respect between the teacher and the students. Between all learners, there is no distraction. The classroom is child-friendly. There is mutual support between the teacher and all the students. The Bible says, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on stand and give it lights to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Based on this chapter on the teacher as a community leader, how do this biblical passage apply to the professional teacher? The passage means that as a teacher, we are the glimpse of light for those who are in the darkness. Those who are ignorant, a dish without salt is tasteless and may just flavor and will become enticing. So, as knowledge to people, that's why a teacher is a catalyst of change and the salt to add taste and value to those who lack education and guidance. I don't hear what you are saying because you are speak louder than what you says. How does this quote apply to the professional teacher as a community leader? This means that as a teacher, we must lead by example and we must practice we preach. Apart from being an educator, teacher also play a huge role in our community as children look up to them. They have moral ascendancy towards our student. That's why as a teacher, our teachings shall be visible to our way of living. Otherwise, you will be hypocrite or inconsistent. A teacher is fully convinced that her religion is the only true religion, the only way to salvation. As a result, she proselytes. Can her good intention of salvation for all justify her proselyting? Why or why not? The teacher acts beyond what is needed for a teacher. Even if her intention is good, she must not force any of her students to convert and be a member of her religion. That is very unprofessional and unbecoming for a teacher whose role is to teach children about their human rights, which includes freedom to choose religion and to practice it without fear. As a community leader, what will you do if you see something negative in the community culture? As a community leader, A lot is expected from me. I should see to it that the community's welfare is my priority. That's why if I see something negative in the community which may affect the lives of the member, then I must act on it appropriately to avoid further problem. I should be their role model so they will learn from me. Your mayor has a teacher candidate for a teaching position. Your ranking is over. Your mayor's candidate was not part of the ranking and is not a licensed teacher. As a professional teacher, what would you do? As a professional teacher, it is one of my job to protect the integrity of my profession against fraud and deceit. Thus, if ever such situations happen, then I will write a letter to the mayor's office to respectfully remind him that under our laws, only those who are licensed teachers can teach in a government-owned school, and besides, there exists a ranking system in the DepEd to ascertain the qualification of those who want to become a public school teacher. Cite at least 3 specific ethical behavior of a professional teacher based on Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Professional Teacher. The teacher is giving one-on-one tutorial to students who have slow understanding in lessons. The teacher making sure that he or she does not favor any of the students. The teacher walk their talk and making sure their image is not tainted with immoral or unprofessional issues.
Here are the takeaways. Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers states that a professional teacher shall live for and with the community. Number 2. The community includes the internal stakeholder, learning and their parents, guardians, teacher and school heads, and external stakeholders, member of the community who have a children enrolled in the school, such as community, non-government official, church leader, non-organization, and government organization. Number 3. For the learners, you facilitate learning and development of the youth. To do this, you have to create nurturing, positive learning environment. Number 4. For the community, you are leader. You take initiative and leadership to actively participate in community affairs and movements in turn involves the community in school activities for upliftment of both school and the community. This can be readily happen if you are in harmonious relation with all peoples in the community. Number 5. To keep parents and community involvement in school, they must be updated and happening in the school, accomplishment, achievements, problems, and projects. And the last, at all times, at all places, and for all people, don't not abuse that authority or power bestowed on you as a professional teacher for you to be credible as a community leader. You shall behave with honor and dignity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, respect community culture, and seek to understand them, or else lose your favor as a community leader. Let's check for understanding. 1. Give at least 3 expectations that community has the teacher. Number 2. How should a professional teacher regard indigenous people's culture? Let's reflect. The mother of this author was once a public school teacher. When this author was in her preschool age, her mother taught in the remote barrios of the town, and so where her mother was assigned to family went along. This author vividly remembered how her mother was dearly loved by the community. She was teacher, counselor, and consultant to everyone who came. She was the needed missionary. Her transfer to another school was an emotional one, a mother crying too. To top it all, the one most touching each in my memory was a community leader had a big rooster. So many wanted it to buy that rooster but refused to sell it. On the eve of our departure, he butchered it for the last evening meal with them. this author will never forget, such as generosity and their poverty. These people can give all. A. If given the opportunity, would you welcome teaching in the Far Flag School? Why or why not? B. If you say yes to the call to teach in the Far Flag School, what should be doing for in your pre-service education? Here are taking it to the NEP.
Let clinchers. Number 1. In her leadership in the community, a professional teacher shows no signs of ethnocentrism. What does this mean? A. Does not belittle other people's culture. B. Looks at her culture as superior to others' culture. C. Is ashamed of her own culture. D. Does not mind other people's culture. Number 2. The professional teacher is quite xenocentric. How is this manifest? A. Look at her culture as superior to that of others. B. Look at her culture as inferior to that of others. C. Does not mind if her culture is inferior or superior. D. Is at home with all cultures. Which is policy-making body composed of internal and external stakeholders with whom school head and teacher relate. A. Parents Teachers Association. B. Supreme Student Council. C. School Governing Council. D. Faculty Club. 4. Who is not a member of Parent Teacher Association? A. Parents with no child currently enrolled in school. B. Parents of children currently enrolled in the school. C. School head. D. Teacher representative. 5. As a teacher, you are facilitator of learning. What is expected of you? A. Do not fail anyone. B. Make teaching learning interactive and exciting. C. Use video clips. D. Allow them to use their cell phone in the classroom.